Have you ever wondered, like, what really makes a classic car valuable?
I mean,
It's got to be more than just, like, a shiny exterior, right?
well, absolutely.
It's the history,
Yeah.
the craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Knowing say, your prized 67 Mustang is the real deal.
Right.
Not some, like, cleverly disguised replica.
You're hitting on something really important there.
Right.
It's that history.
Right.
In the classic car world, we call it provenance.
Oh.
And it's honestly, it's everything.
Everything.
Yeah. Think of it like owning an original Picasso
Okay.
versus a well-done print.
Okay, I'm hooked already. So to dive deeper into this whole provenance thing,
Please.
we're looking at this master's thesis.
Okay.
It's by Jose Murta,
Right.
and it's called Trustworthy Classic Car Restorations History Using Blockchain.
Interesting.
And this isn't just some, theoretical tech talk.
Right.
Murta actually built a working system using this.
Right.
It's called Classics Chain.
Wow. So he's actually using blockchain technology
Yeah.
to create this camper-proof record of a car's restoration.
So no more shady pasts for these vintage vehicles. Tell me more.
Okay, so picture this. You're about to drop some serious cash
Okay.
on a supposedly pristine classic car.
Oh, right.
But how can you be absolutely assured that the restoration was done right,
Right.
with the right parts?
Mm-hmm.
Was it a complete frame-off restoration?
Yeah.
Or did they just slap some paint on it to cover up rust?
Right, right. Hoping for the best.
Exactly.
I can see where this is going. That's where blockchain comes in.
Precisely.
But before we get into the really technical stuff,
Okay, sure.
I think we need like a super quick explainer because, people have heard of blockchain in terms of like Bitcoin.
Right, cryptocurrency.
Right, cryptocurrency. But how does it apply to like classic cars?
That's a great question. It all comes down to trust.
Okay.
At its core, blockchain is a digital record-keeping system.
Yep.
Imagine like a digital ledger,
Okay.
but it's practically impossible to tamper with.
Okay.
Once information is on the blockchain, it's there
Oh, wow.
to stay
Wow. Okay.
permanently,
Her-
unchangeable.
So no more erasing those like fender benders or those botched paint jobs.
You got it. And that immutability,
Okay.
that's just one part of what makes blockchain so secure. It's also decentralized,
Okay.
meaning no single person, no single entity controls it.
Huh.
Think of it like a shared,
Okay.
but very secure
Right.
digital library.
Got it.
And here's the interesting thing. While it's transparent,
Okay.
so authorized parties can trace a car's history,
Yeah.
it's also incredibly secure.
Okay, so we've got this super secure system, and this Classics Chain uses that to track a car's entire journey.
Yes. It's like a museum,
Okay.
meticulously documenting
Right.
the history of a priceless artifact.
Right.
Who owned it, how it was restored, everything.
Right.
Blockchain could do that same thing for a car's entire life story.
This is already making a lot more sense. But let's get a little bit specific.
Okay.
How does Classics Chain actually work? Murta chose to build this on something called Hyperledger Fabric.
Right, right.
Why that one? What's so special about it?
That's a great question. There are a few reasons why he went with Hyperledger Fabric.
Okay.
First, it's known for its speed,
Okay.
which is important. Then there's the robust security,
Right. Of course. Yeah.
which is obviously super important when you're dealing with these valuable assets.
Right.
But I think the key factor here is the permission system.
Okay.
Remember, we want people to be able to access the information.
Right. But not just anybody. Right.
Exactly. Authorized parties.
Yeah.
We want them to be able to trace the car's history.
Right. Like, you don't want just anyone going in there and, like, changing things.
Precisely.
So is there, like, a digital file cabinet for each car within Classics Chain?
You're on the right track.
Okay.
Murta calls it a vehicle card.
Vehicle card.
It's like a digital passport for the car.
Oh, okay.
That stores all the really important information about it.
So we're talking, like, manufacturer details, ownership history, records of every restoration, like what parts they used,
Yes, all of that.
certifications,
Certifications, yep.
the whole 9 yards.
Everything.
Does it have the new car smell digitally recorded too?
Maybe not the new car smell.
Okay, okay.
But you're spot on. He even talks about including photos
Oh,
and
wow.
videos
Wow.
of the restoration work.
So this is very comprehensive then.
It's incredibly comprehensive. This
Yeah.
vehicle card, it's like a digital time capsule
Right.
for the car's life.
This is amazing. I can already see car enthusiasts and collectors just like eating this up.
I know, it's amazing.
But how do you make sure that what's on those vehicle cards, that it's accurate?
Yeah.
What's stopping someone from, like sneaking in a fake restoration record or something?
That's where things get even more interesting.
Okay.
This is where smart contracts come into play.
Smart contracts. All right.
Think of them like digital agreements
Okay.
built into the classic exchange system.
Right.
They basically enforce the rules automatically. So if someone tries to, say, sneak in a fake record
Right.
or change the ownership history without permission,
Right.
the system's going to flag it,
Oh, wow.
reject it.
It's like a digital bouncer.
Exactly.
Only letting in the right information.
Precisely.
Smart contracts. Got it.
Smart contracts.
Okay. But hold on. With all those photos and videos,
Yeah.
won't things get kind of messy?
It could, yeah.
Like storing all that directly on the blockchain.
Yeah, you're right.
It's got to take up a ton of space, right?
You're right. Storing large media files directly on the blockchain, it's not very efficient.
Right.
That's where things get really cool.
Okay.
Murta uses this clever combination of technologies, IPFS, and Filecoin.
IPFS and Filecoin? Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to have to break those down for me.
Okay, so
Those sound like something out of, like, a sci-fi movie.
I know, right?
Yeah.
IPFS stands for Interplanetary File System.
Interplanetary.
Interplanetary.
Okay.
But don't let the name throw you off,
Mm.
basically.
Okay.
It's a secure, decentralized way to store those photos and videos.
Okay. I'm with you so far.
Okay.
What about Filecoin then? What does that do?
So Filecoin ensures that those files,
Okay.
all those photos and videos,
Right.
they're not just stored securely,
Right.
but that they stay accessible long-term,
Okay.
even if something happens to the original files.
So it's like a backup system for your backups?
Exactly. Like a safety net.
Ensuring that those, those memories are preserved.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got a secure system to store everything.
Right.
We've got this clever way to manage all the photos and videos.
Yes.
But is this just like a fancy concept? Or is this something that can actually work in the real world?
Right.
Because, let's face it, sometimes tech ideas sound really amazing on paper.
I know, right?
But then you try to actually use them and they fall apart.
That's a great point, because you're right. Sometimes these things sound great in theory, but
Right.
in practice, not so much.
Yeah.
But what's really impressive here is that Murta didn't just stop at the theory.
Oh, okay.
He actually went and tested Classic Chain with real people in the classic car world.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Talking about owners.
Okay, so actual classic car owners.
Yes. Restorers.
Okay.
Even those experts.
Oh, wow. The discerning experts.
Exactly.
So what was their take?
They were impressed.
Okay, they were into it.
Yeah, he actually used something called the System Usability Scale,
Okay.
or SUS,
SUS, all right.
to gauge user satisfaction.
Okay, how'd they do?
Classic Chain scored an 81, which is considered above average.
Oh, wow. Okay, not bad. So it's user-friendly?
It's user-friendly.
Okay, so we're talking secure,
Secure.
user-friendly, and
Yeah.
based on real-world testing.
Real world.
Color me impressed. This is very cool.
It is very cool.
But I do want to, shift gears a little bit here.
Okay.
What does this all mean for, the average person? Why should someone listening to this, someone who maybe, dreams of owning a classic car one day,
Sure.
why should they care about blockchain and classic car restorations and all this?
That's a million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Imagine a world where buying a used car
Okay.
doesn't feel like you're navigating a minefield
Right.
of uncertainty.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it's a classic car
Okay.
or just your daily driver.
Right.
That's the kind of potential we're talking about here.
Okay. So, no more worrying about, is there hidden damage? Or, are they inflating what kind of work they've done on this?
Exactly.
Buyers would actually have access to this, verified, tamper-proof record.
Yes.
So it could really, even the playing field.
Yeah.
Make it a much fairer market.
That's exactly it. And it's not just about, making sure you don't get ripped off.
Right.
Classic Chain can also help preserve this really important part of history, automotive history.
Oh, okay.
Each car's vehicle card.
Right.
It becomes an archive, a
Right.
digital archive. It shows all the care,
Oh, cool.
all the work that went into its restoration.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's like this digital testament to how much we love these cars.
That's a really good point. It's you always hear about, oh, this car has a story.
Right.
This is actually a way to, see that story.
Exactly.
And verify it. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
But I did want to go back to something because Murta, in this thesis,
Yeah.
he also talks about how classics chain can integrate with the Charter of Turin monitor.
Yes.
Can you, like, remind us what the Charter of Turin is again?
Absolutely.
Mm.
The Charter of Turin is basically a set of guidelines for restoring classic cars.
Okay.
It was developed by this organization called FIVA,
Right.
and they're all about preserving a car's authenticity.
Mhm.
You know, making sure that, like, a 67 Mustang that's restored today
Right.
still stays true to its original design
Okay.
and engineering.
Okay, so how does this Charter of Turin monitor thing, how does that fit in?
So the monitor is actually a digital platform
Yep.
that helps these workshops, these restoration workshops,
Right.
document all their work
Right.
according to those guidelines.
So they already had, like, a digital system.
They already have a digital system. It's pretty cool.
That's cool. So how does Classics Chain fit into all that?
It's a really smart integration.
Okay.
Think of it like it's like a 1-2 punch,
Okay.
right? So you've got the Charter of Turin monitor
Yeah, okay.
that's guiding the restoration process,
Right.
making sure that everything's being done to those standards. It's like almost like having a master craftsman
Right.
looking over your shoulder as you're doing the work.
That's a great analogy.
And then Classic Chain steps in
Yeah.
to secure all that documentation on the blockchain.
Right.
So that record is there.
Wow. So it's like you're making sure the work is done right, but then you've got that extra layer of, like,
Proof.
yeah, that it was done right and that, no one's messed with anything.
It's future-proof. And that's what's so cool about this, Murta's work with Classics Chain.
Yeah.
This isn't just about record keeping.
Right.
It's about establishing trust
Right.
in a way that really we haven't been able to do before.
It really is kind of like it's like he's opening up, like, a new chapter
Oh, yeah.
in how we think about not just buying and selling these cars, but just how we appreciate them.
I love that.
The history of them.
Yes.
This is really, really cool, but it makes you think, like, if this can be applied to this,
Right.
what else is out there?
What else can we do?
Right. What other problems can we solve?
Exactly.
This could be a real game changer, not just in the classic car world,
Yeah.
but, like, anywhere where you've got to have that trust, that transparency.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
Yeah, this is very, very cool.
It's very exciting.
While we are looking ahead to this very exciting future,
Yeah.
there is, Murta's thesis also made me think about something
Okay.
that he doesn't really get into.
Okay.
And it's something I think that's kind of crucial when we talk about, like, trust and transparency.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if, like, there's a disagreement about a car's history?
Okay.
Like, let's say someone buys a classic.
Right.
And then later on, there's a question about, like, was the restoration done properly?
Yeah.
Or, like, were original parts used,
Yeah. Right. Right.
How do you resolve that with this classic chain thing?
That's such a good point because you're right. Right now, those disputes,
Yeah.
they can be so messy.
Right.
It often just comes down to, like,
He said, she said.
yeah, or like someone's word against someone else's, trying to
Right.
dig up these old receipts, or,
Right.
maybe the documentation isn't, like,
Mm.
the most reliable.
Reliable, yeah. And especially with classic cars.
Oh, yeah.
Where one part could be worth, like, thousands of dollars, right?
Exactly.
Those disagreements could get pretty intense.
For sure.
So how could blockchain, like, actually help in a situation like that?
Okay, so think about it. Instead of this, like, back and forth,
Right.
you have this record
Right.
that can't be messed with.
Right.
So you could have a panel of experts,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
And they could actually look at the entire history of the restoration on the blockchain,
Okay.
see if it measures up to those Charter of Turin standards.
Right. Right.
And then they could make a judgment
Oh, wow.
based on facts.
That's kind of like having, like, a digital judge
Yes,
for the classic car world.
exactly.
That's amazing.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That would give so much more confidence to buyers.
Yes. Exactly.
It would protect those restorers who are doing things the right way.
Absolutely. It protects everybody who's doing it right.
Right. Weeding out the bad actors. It's about making sure that the whole thing is on the up and up.
Yeah, it's like it just adds this extra level of, like, legitimacy to the whole thing.
Legitimacy, yes.
Yeah.
And transparency.
And I think that's what's so brilliant about what Murta has done with this classics chain thing. It's not just about, like, record keeping. It's about
Building trust.
building trust
Yeah.
in a way that we haven't been able to before.
It's revolutionary, really.
It's so cool. It's really interesting to think about. This technology could be such a game changer, not just for classic cars,
Right.
but for, like, anything where that trust and transparency is important.
It has so much potential.
If you are at all interested in this, I highly recommend you go and check out Jose Murta's thesis.
Yes. It's a great read.
It's such a fascinating look at, the future,
Yeah.
where blockchain isn't just about Bitcoin. It's about, like, preserving history,
Yes.
ensuring things are authentic,
Authenticity is key.
and, maybe making the world a little bit more trustworthy.
I love that.
One classic car at a time.
One car at a time. Well, that was fun.
That was awesome.
Always a pleasure to dive deep with you.
Oh, likewise.
Until next time.
Thanks for joining us.